Calgary snapped their 3-game losing skid. Was this a case of the Leafs being uninspired in their first game without Auston Matthews or Sydney, or was this a renewed commitment from the Flames after being booed out of their own arena following a 9-1 loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins?
I think it's the former.
Leafs uninspired.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
They had 4 shots in the first period, man.
They did have 4 shots in the first period.
Unacceptable. They're not the Flames team that have been getting destroyed in the media the last week. They're not the Flames team that have 20-year-olds calling each other out. Mm-hmm. Like, that should not have been the start. Matthews is out. Everyone on that Leafs team last night should have come out with a purpose. Nobody did. And Auston Matthews ain't walking through that door anytime soon. Closer to the holidays. I don't want to go there immediately.
Right.
But it's true. He's not walking through anytime soon. And I'm looking at guys like Kadri, and I'm looking at guys, quite frankly, like John Tavares. Look, John Tavares is getting paid, got the plaudits, got a bunch of great features cut by Sportsnet and other networks before the season. It's great. He has a goal in 8 games. Mm-hmm. Goal in 8 games. Now is where a guy like Tavares has to carry things for a while. Welcome to Toronto. People aren't going to give him a pass. 21 minutes last night, not on the score sheet at all. Unacceptable. That Leafs, I can't believe they didn't practice today, Tim. I was floored.
Right.
I was absolutely floored. Mike Babcock didn't have this team practice today. Mm-hmm. This is not good. And if Tavares doesn't lead from the front, because that blue line isn't going to get any better, I don't know what November's going to look like. I don't. Am I overreacting?
I'm just, as you're talking, I'm quickly Googling the NHL standings just to make sure that the Leafs are still in first place in the entire league.
They are.
And
can you Google also the teams within 3 points behind them?
And as I look here, and you're just tearing away after one game in which the Calgary Flames played some pretty inspired hockey.
Look at those same standings.
Yeah, no, I see the Leafs. Oh, there's the Leafs. Yeah. Oh, the NHL standings. Sorry, I lost it there.
Pittsburgh 2 points back. You can see them, and they're in 3 games in hand. Yeah. There's Tampa, 2 games in hand.
No, I know. You're just tearing apart the team.
Leafs have played more games than anyone else in the East. I'm looking at that, too.
Well, that's part of how hard the schedule might be as well. But hey, it sounded like you were talking about a team that sucked and not, or John Tavares, who hasn't helped them win games, but up until that point, they had won games. Listen, I'll just say what Nazem Kadri said after the game. And Kadri was okay. I
have no problem with Kadri's game.
Their gaps were great, Kadri said of the Flames. Right on top of our guys coming through the neutral zone seemed like a pain in the bleep every time. They made it tough on us and certainly congested the neutral zone area. That was the difference. Now, I'm not saying that the shots on goal were the numbers. I thought the Leafs were trying to be a little too cute. But I got to give some credit to a Flames squad that felt like they were up against it after Tkachuk says what he says in Montreal, going home the 9-1. Then you get 3 out of a possible 4 points against Washington and Toronto after being drubbed by the leading scoring team in the National Hockey League. They faced the next 2 leading scoring teams, and I thought they did a pretty good job. Lindholm looks real deal. He now has, 8 goals to lead the team. I like what I saw from the Calgary Flames, and I'm going to give them credit. All those things you said, though, if the sample size becomes 2, 3, 4,
look out.
Then look out for Toronto. As of right now, I think this is just a Sid Sixero thing. No offense.
Really?
Yeah.
1 goal in 8 games for Tavares is a Sid Sixero thing?
Well, but if you're winning games and it's 1 goal in 8 games, I have no problem with that. And I have no problem with that, especially if you're sharing time. Last night, did you notice the time? Getting upset, throwing the table around. Like Bam Bam over there.
Well, today was leg day.
It's like Bam Bam over there.
This thing moves pretty quickly.
Kadri 21-14, Tavares 21-26, both season high in ice time. All that depth that the Leafs were talking about going into this season and over the last few years, I mean, it was interesting. Babcock after the game said, I don't know about the depth. We're now 20 games in, and if you ask me that question again, when we're 20 games in, you can ask me about that question again. I'll tell you if we have more depth this year. I mean, think about it, right? Like, you lost a few guys, too. Nylander's not playing.
Nope.
Matthews is out. JVR is gone. Bozak's gone. Uncle Leo's gone. Like, the depth was supposed to be the strength of this team, and that is going to be tested. Like, is Frederick Gauthier an NHL hockey player? Do you know that?
Fringe.
Is Par Lindholm the guy where you're supposed? Is Andreas Janssen? a third-line player?
I
Like
have
all
people-
these questions that you have, I don't know if you got any answers.
No, we don't have any answers. But the Leafs were winning games, and it wasn't because of depth.
Oh,
Because certain
big
guys
boys.
were putting the operation on their back.
It was
and they
big
were,
boys, yeah.
10 goals in 6 games from 34.
Pulling up the big boy pants.
Pulling up the big boy pants.
I don't know if you know this, though, the 10 goals in 6 games, not exactly sustainable.
I thought it was. I thought it was, McCall.
Right.
No, you know what was sustainable?
What was
that
that?
someone else had to step up at some point.
Right.
And that has not changed.
Right. And now
but
you
that's
can look
why
to
I thought-
Tavares and
that's
you
why
can
I
say,
thought, yeah.
but one game. I know it's 8.
not. But Tim.
But if you're winning games, it doesn't matter.
Tavares' dry spell is not a game. Okay. He has got to be the guy now. Kasperi Kapanen has a lot of skill. I still don't know about Kasperi Kapanen. So, and never mind the blue line. Like there were moments that Ron. What are we going to have the Ron Hazy discussion the whole season? Like we did last year, or do we just acknowledge he's probably not
No,
the guy?
I know,
people
but
wanted to
I
be
think
and
what
move
you're
on?
talking about, like, it's interesting to me. You're like calling out Tavares, and then I look at his wingers, and it's Kasperi Kapanen and Zach Hyman. Like,
Yeah, but for most of those 8 games, also it was Marner. He's not chopped liver.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And plus, not including the power play time, still only 1 goal in 8 games. That's an interesting little stretch for me when they need him now pretty badly. When a lot of teams behind him have games in hand, or it's just 1 game and it's not that big a deal.